Stephen A. Smith is one of the most controversial figures in sports media. His bold takes spark outrage from fans, athletes, and even his own colleagues. But what if I told you one of his co-workers pushed him so far that Stephen A. got them fired?
When I went upstairs to management, my exact words were, look, if he's that important to you, give him first take. I'll leave.
Stephen A.
2 hours later, I got the call. We making a change.
This is one of the many reasons people hate Stephen A. Smith. His childish attitude, loud personality, and unfair criticism. All of these traits will be on full display in this video. And you may look at Stephen A. entirely differently, especially after you find out what happened between him and Jason Whitlock. An NBA player that called Stephen A. a clown is Kevin Durant. Let's take it back to 2015. Kevin Durant is on his last year of his contract with the OKC Thunder. Rumors are spreading that KD might want out of Oklahoma. And who is the main reporter giving us this news? Stephen A. Smith, of course.
The Washington Wizards and the New York Knicks will be targeting Kevin Durant. You can book it.
But what Stephen A. said next led to Kevin Durant calling him out on Twitter.
Or that LA's a viable option, but Washington is still a possibility.
Kevin Durant responded to this on Friday. Here's what he said. I don't talk to Stephen A. Smith at all, so he's lying. So he's making up stories. Stephen A.
Kevin Durant is the one that's lying. I've talked to him on several occasions, literally within the last year. Let me be very, very clear, my brother, it does not fit. You are in no position to question my credibility whatsoever. A matter of fact, one would argue, what position are you in to question the credibility of anybody in the media?
After Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, it wasn't just the fans who turned on him. The media came after him too. Stephen A. Smith, in particular, didn't hold back, openly criticizing Durant's move as a weak decision.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple. That's just how I look at it. What I still will proclaim to be the weakest move I have ever seen by any superstar in any sport.
However, after Durant secured his first championship with Golden State, things took an unexpected turn. Durant's mother appeared on First Take to confront Stephen A., which resulted in him issuing a rare apology.
Now, you got on me because I said that the move to go to Golden State was weak. But, Mama Durant, I have to say this to you. I still sit up there and say, I don't back off that statement because of the reason I made the statement. He's so great. He's so great. Joining that team, to me, was almost unfair. And we've witnessed his greatness and how lopsided it made things. That's all.
I just think you were kind of harsh.
Okay. Well, listen, first of all, you have a right. Let me just. Say you're sorry.
I'm still the mama. I'm always.
For you. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
And no, it doesn't stop here. Fast forward to 2024, Stephen A. was covering a segment discussing KD's leadership. This is what he had to say.
I think Kevin Durant is one of the greatest talents this game has ever seen.
Agreed.
I think that, you know, what he's done for the game of basketball, the ambassador that he is for the game of basketball, is to be applauded. But the flip side to all of that is that he's been relatively leaderless. He's been very lacking in inspiration in terms of peeling out from those around him whatever you can give him. He'll show up. If you said to me, it's a game 7, it's a game 1, it's a game 5, I don't give a damn what it is. Kevin Durant's gonna show up and he's gonna ball out. But does he get the others around him to do it? Not only does he not do it, he doesn't feel the level of responsibility I think he should feel in getting it out of them.
KD responded with some blunt words. Yeah, Stephen A. I don't understand how people even listen to Stephen A. I've been in the league for 18 years. I've never seen Stephen A at a practice or a film session or a shoot around. I've never seen him anywhere but on TV talking shit about players. He's a clown to me. He's always been a clown. You can write that too. Stephen A and Kevin Durant aren't particularly close, so most of their arguments were across social media and not face to face. But for the next victim of Stephen A. Smith, he was not only close to him, but worked beside him for 4 years, then did something that left Stephen A. feeling betrayed. In 2012, a rising sports journalist by the name of Stephen A. Smith joined First Take with Skip Bayless. At that point in time, Skip Bayless was a household name, while Stephen A. was only known by hardcore NBA fans. Over the next 4 years, both men would solidify their names in sports media, becoming the pioneers of First Take, and two of the best debaters sports media has ever seen. But from what you will find common throughout this video, all good things must come to an end. By the end of the 2016 NBA season, Skip Bayless' contract with ESPN had expired, and Fox News offered him a price that he just couldn't refuse. They offered him a 4-year, $24 million deal, leaving Stephen A. heartbroken.
Did your relationship with Skip ever fracture? Was there any contentiousness there?
Never. The only time anything came close to that was when I knew he was leaving before he told me. And I was like, what the hell's going on? You know, and so I confronted him because for better or worse, I'm a straight up guy. You know, if I work with you and all of a sudden I'm leaving, you ain't gonna find out from somebody else. You gonna hear from me. I'm gonna come looking for you to tell you. I'm gonna give you the news face to face. And I was hearing it and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Stephen A. would have to choose a replacement, and that replacement would be Max Kellerman, who I will be speaking on very shortly. After the two split ways, there was not much animosity until Skip Bayless' contract with Fox Sports was expiring in 2021. ESPN was so desperate to bring back Skip and have the two men reunite. And one man who was trying to help ESPN bring back Skip Bayless was Stephen A. Smith. ESPN would offer Skip a 4-year contract worth $30 million, but Skip would decline and stay with Fox Sports because they offered him an increase of 4 years, $32 million. This is what Skip Bayless had to say about his relationship between himself and Stephen A.
Stephen A. Smith was more of a brother to me than my actual brother ever was. That's the truth.
But after you watch this small clip, you might come to find out that this is not as true as Skip Bayless wanted us to believe.
Skip Bayless and I have not spoken in a long time. He's on that side of the fence. I'm on this side of the fence. With the news coming down that he's departing from FS1, I have not called him. I'm not going to.
Other than a few jabs and disagreements, Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, they don't hate each other and still consider themselves brothers. The same cannot be said between Stephen A. and Max Kellerman. If we go back to 2016, when Skip Bayless had just left ESPN, Stephen A. was left with a decision to make. Who was going to replace Skip Bayless? In comes Max Kellerman. These two would go on to work together for 5 years, from 2016 to 2021. As time would go on, Stephen A. couldn't find the same chemistry he had with Skip Bayless, leaving a void that he felt couldn't be filled with Max Kellerman sitting across him on First Take. So, Stephen A. got Max Kellerman fired.
I didn't like working with him, man. It's just that damn simple. I didn't like it. But I went upstairs to management. My exact words were, look, if he's that important to you, give him First Take. I'll leave.
Stephen A. Stephen A.
I'm telling you what I said. I'm only giving you what I said.
Old school trick.
I'm only giving you what I said.
God,
2 hours,
he went in that office hot.
2 hours later, I got the call. We making a change.
But the last one was Joe Budden. If you saw the Joe Budden one, I was like, nah, he flexed. I was like, that ain't right. You dancing on the grave of Max. Max gone from your show, gone from your network, and you not saying it in a way, like I saw when y'all were working together, that you respect the dude. So all I wanted to do is kind of referee that.
I thought it was also worth mentioning that Stephen A. didn't attend Max Kellerman's final show at First Take.
Today is a bittersweet day. here on First Take, as it is Max's final show.
Adding to the belief that Stephen A was growing tired of working with the man. If we're going to be honest, Stephen A and Max Kellerman came nowhere close to how legendary First Take was when Skip Bayless was on the show, because Stephen A and Max Kellerman never had great chemistry. But don't get me wrong, we definitely got some memorable moments from these two.
LeBron James or Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant.
Incorrect.
Kevin Durant.
LeBron James
Kevin Durant.
is a
What are you watching?
far more unstoppable
What are you watching?
offensive
Far
player.
far more unstoppable. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Offensive player.
Excuse me, I didn't
Not
stutter.
just.
Not that those other things. I'm not changing the subject. Hold on. We don't know what the subject is, because the fact of the matter is, I'll let you talk. I didn't say a word. Not a word. I actually sat here. I actually sat here and listened to your flagrant ignorance. I've seen
I am
it.
talking reality.
Max, finish your thought, then we're going to take a quick break and get back to it.
Yeah, but please, why even bother listening?
Right now, Molly?
Prohibition. No, let's go to break. Let's go to break. Go ahead.
When you think of Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith, one clip might come to mind.
What he wanted was transparency, for people to see the full workout, to see the full Colin Kaepernick. Again, you mentioned obviously Max is going to get in here, and like I said, I'm in the streets. Max almost seems blacker than you, Stephen A. with what he's coming, with his commentary.
With all due respect, my brother.
I'm just saying.
If you aren't familiar with the name Terrell Owens, he's one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, playing from 1996 to 2012. Now, Stephen A and Terrell Owens, they were on good terms when Terrell was in the NFL, but things took a turn for the worse when Terrell joined First Take in 2019 and said something to Stephen A that will haunt him for a very long time.
Max almost seems blacker than you, Stephen A.
Obviously, the relationship between the two would go downhill after that, but nothing publicly went down for the near future. Until Stephen A went on Joe Biden's podcast and started talking about the firing of Max Kellerman, the clip I showed you before. Fans started speculating that when Terrell said that Max seems blacker than Stephen A was the moment that Stephen A. Smith decided Max needed to be off the show. Then Terrell retweeted a tweet suggesting that this is the reason why Stephen A. doesn't like Max Kellerman. And this is what reignited the beef between the two. Stephen A. would respond in a tweet. Or maybe I'll just dedicate the entire Stephen A. Smith show on YouTube this Monday to all the things you tried to do behind the scenes. To brothers, over the years while claiming someone is more of a brother than others. Let me think about that over the next 24 hours. I think it's worth mentioning that Stephen A. got ratioed by a guy who replied with Max Kellerman rapping, just so you can get an idea of how fans were feeling about this situation. As I stated before, Stephen A. and Terrell Owens were on good terms back when Terrell was in his playing career. But for Stephen A.'s relationship with Kwame Brown, it has been disrespectful ever since Kwame stepped foot on an NBA court.
Kwame Brown is gone. The City of Angels, Hollywood, just should be celebrated. Throw a parade already, whether you win a championship or not. This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. The man cannot play the game of basketball. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball. He's got bad feet. He can't really move, even though he's mobile. Doesn't really know what he's doing. Doesn't have a post move that he puts to memory that he can do 2 times in a row. He has no game whatsoever, plays no defense, doesn't have the heart, the passion, or anything that comes with it.
It's well known that Kwame Brown is one of, if not the biggest bust in NBA history. Kwame was drafted #1 overall in the 2001 NBA draft. This guy was so talented that he was one of the rare cases who got drafted out of high school. In fact, many would consider him one of the greatest high school basketball players ever. Over the next 12 years, he will play for 7 different NBA teams, making over $60 million in the process. But as a #1 pick, people, especially the media, are going to have high expectations for you. And well, Kwame didn't have that good of a career, and the people in the sports media would have a field day when discussing Kwame Brown and his career.
Because you're Kwame Brown. You're 7 feet tall. You're the #1 overall draft pick, okay? You come into this league, you came in without a jump shot. You came in without the ability to rebound. You came in without the ability to do nice footwork, to pass, to rebound, to defend, to score points, or whatever the case may be. And it's a decade later, and you're still that dude. You never worked and put forth your due diligence in order to take advantage of the privilege opportunity that you were in. And when I see that level of consistency as it pertains to ineptitude, I'm gonna call somebody out. If a dude is playing like garbage, you don't sit there and point out he's playing like garbage.
Of course
you don't
I
sit
do,
there and point out how he's not living up to expectation.
Stephen A. wouldn't just leave his critiques on Kwame at his job at ESPN. He went on a nationwide tour, traveling to different colleges, talking shit about Kwame Brown.
You with your scrub no offense having sex. Just said that. I mean, that's just blasphemy. You should apologize for bringing that up. How are you in the league for 10 years and you're still the same scrub you were in 2001?
Though during his playing career, Kwame would stay silent and not respond to any of the criticism from the sports media, until he started his own YouTube channel in 2021, where he would let out all of his anger that he kept inside of him from all these years, going after people that talked down on him. And Stephen A. was on top of that list.
As son of a like you that ain't never did a motherfucking thing in his real life, what have you done to talk so arrogant, you little stupid son of a... You got your coach fired in college. The nigga you talk about the most made you the most money. I'm still better than you. You made your most money talking about me.
Stephen A. would then respond on his show, not only calling out Kwame once again for his poor play, but he also stood up for everyone else he was gunning after.
Look, I don't have a single negative thing to say about Kwame Brown, the person. Nothing personal. Never have. And no one out here has been attacking him personally either. That includes Gilbert Arenas, who did not attack him personally. It includes Steven Jackson, who did not attack him personally. It includes Matt Barnes, who he really got personal about, and Matt Barnes never said a word. It doesn't include Charlamagne the God either. Charlamagne the God either.
Leave Kwame alone. That man has been quiet for 20 years. He don't bother nobody. Clearly all that, all that he's a bust stuff gets to him, and you don't know what people are going through or have been through, but I've seen folks snap for less, and it looks like, Kwame is snapping. And if you look at the history of men in his family, you would know his men in his family have a history of snapping.
Fast forward 2 years, Stephen A. stated that he actually regretted initially criticizing Kwame Brown the way he did back in the day.
Is there any moments in your career that you wish you could do over?
There's several. Kwame Brown, I wish I could do that over. I wouldn't do it. I know what I said. I did mean it. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you I ain't mean the shit I said.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know it was gonna be like this. Remember, I said it before Twitter, Facebook. And I didn't know 15 years later, they won't have memes and videos. And when I see what he says, I realize how hurt he is. I mean, it was a sound bite. They had just traded for Pau Gasol. They asked me this question and I'm like, what? One time I had to address it because I felt like he was coming at me like I was scared. I can't even tell you when I did that, the stars who called, I ain't gonna mention no names, practically all of them was Hall of Famers. And they're like, nah. And I was like, where were y'all when he was saying all of this stuff for weeks? Right. I didn't say anything. And as I see some of the clips now and some of the stuff that he says, I just like, go ahead, bro. Say what you gotta say.
But for Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock, there will be absolutely zero apologies between the two. After they made it so personal, Stephen A. went off script and said this.
Did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit.
The pair once worked alongside each other as ESPN commentators during the 2000s, until Jason Whitlock was fired from ESPN. The feud has rapidly escalated from rude remarks to personal attacks at one another. After Stephen A. released his memoir, Straight Shooter, he included some stories that Jason Whitlock not only disagreed with, but wholeheartedly accused Stephen A. of having someone else write his book for him.
Stephen A. Smith, if you go read his memoir and listen to the stories he tells about getting a basketball scholarship to Winston-Salem State. It's so mind-blowingly preposterous and stupid and fabricated. I'm like, holy cow, how did they let him tell these lies? Or whoever wrote it, who wrote these lies? That he went down and had a scrimmage and hit 17 straight shots and big house games gave him a scholarship on the spot.
This would result in a response by Stephen A, which in my opinion is the hardest he has ever cooked someone.
Did you tell them how you stood outside of First Take begging me to talk to you? Did you tell them that once this same article in Deadspin came out, weeks later you wrote a lengthy apology to me in an email, begging me to forgive you, pointing out how you were betrayed by this particular writer, so you know how I must feel that you betrayed me? Did you tell the folks that, you bitch? Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell him that?
Jason Whitlock would then go on to make several posts on Twitter, responding to Stephen A destroying him. Many of the posts fail to make a salient point, and the common sentiment across social media seems to suggest that Whitlock kept the feud going as long as possible to maintain relevance. We discussed the many beefs of Stephen A. Smith. Click on the video on the screen to see the many beefs of Draymond Green.